What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is DJ Angel Ortiz from New Jersey. In this video, I am going to show you how I organize my music for DJ purposes using a couple different programs and ultimately my workflow from beginning to end on how to organize and tag. So the software I'm going to be using today is Media Monkey, which is a program that's similar to iTunes, but it gives you a lot more power in terms of editing your files and making sure everything is organized and neat. MP3 gain, which is going to be used to adjust the volume and make sure everything is consistent. Key finder, that's going to help us find the key for each particular track. Serato DJ and tunes cleaner. So let's get right into it, and let me just walk you through some of the things that I do ultimately before I put all these files into Serato. So if you look at the actual files right now, they all have different formats, and the way they're set up right now, I'm going to change a few things. I want to get rid of a lot of unnecessary words that are in each file name, and I also want to put the genre of each song into the file name. So let's take all these songs right now and drag them into Media Monkey. So within Media Monkey, you can edit the properties, the particular track. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to artwork, and these are all the different album arts that are currently used for these particular tracks, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove them all. Next thing we want to do is individually find and locate the correct genre and year for each particular song. So this is a Doc Adam edit of a Sugar Hill. Even though I just got this song this year, 2014, we're going to find the correct date for this song, and I'll show you why later, why it's very important to make sure you have the correct date of when the song was actually recorded or used. The first thing I'm going to do is take out some of the unnecessary stuff that's in the track title. And if I got the track from a particular producer or DJ, I always want to make sure I leave their names and give them credit for what they've done. So this is a Doc Adam edit, but I'm going to take out the word edit and just leave Doc Adam, so I know that it is an edit, and all of the tracks I have from Doc Adams are edits. All right, so the artist is correct. Album, artist, we're going to put Sugar Hill Gang. What I like to do is make sure that the album, or at least the actually, we'll put the album Sugar Hill Gang. All right, and this is going to make getting the artwork a lot easier, and you'll see why shortly. All right, genre. This is, I have a genre called old school hip hop, so that's the genre I'm going to use there. And as far as the date goes, let's go ahead and find the date for this particular song. Now, the simplest and easy way is just Google that particular track, and that'll make your life a lot easier. So we'll just go to Google. Easiest way is put in the album artist or the artist first, and then search for the song. So Sugar Hill, Eighth Wonder. And right away you'll see that that'll come up. So 1982 is when it was officially released, and that's what we're going to put in Media Monkey. All right, 1982. So we got the genre, we got the name, artist, album, and we're good there. So we're just gonna, now the big thing about Media Monkey is that, as you can see, this file name right now, not necessarily the best way to locate certain files if you have to locate them in your directory, and Media Monkey allows you to adjust or rename that file. So I'm going to rename this file the way I currently have it set up, which is by artist title, and genre. And just to show you what happened there. So now we got the artist, title, and the genre. Very simple. And I've deleted all the unnecessary information. So let's go to our next track. This particular song is an edit from BPM Supreme. Because it does have an 8-bar intro, I'm going to leave that intro word in there. This way I know the difference between this version and the original version, since I have the original version as well. And so I have the intro, it's a clean version, and there is no date. So let's make sure we get that date correct. And can I kick it? So when you're doing a search, you don't have to put in the entire artist name or the entire song. Google is smart enough that it'll figure it out as you're typing. So 1990. Great year for music. Great year for hip hop. All right, let's get that date in there. 1990. We have all the songs tagged and organized the way we want. We got all the years, the original years. We got all the genres the way we need them. So now what we are going to do next is adjust and normalize the volume for all of these MP3s and make sure that they're all consistent. Depending on the genre, depending on the year they were recorded and how the producer mastered the song, a lot of these songs are going to be louder or lower than others. And although Serato and Tractor have track gain features built into the software, I don't necessarily like using the track gain feature in there, because it's only going to adjust that volume when the song is playing through that software. And if you play the song on other applications, whether it's iTunes, Ableton, you're going to always have to mess around with the volume. What MP3 gain does, it analyzes the volume for all of your tracks, and then here you can put it to a certain decibel point that you would like all the tracks to be at. So it analyzes songs, and as you can see, they all vary in decibel level. So we got one song that's at 100 dBs, and then we have a song here that's 94 dBs. So right now they're all in red, which means they're all clipping. And what we'll do first, and this is my preferred method, is adjust all of the tracks to a particular number. So the number or the value I'm going to use is 96 dB. I found that to be the most ideal level. We're going to apply track gain to all the songs right now. Some of the songs are still clipping at this moment. The ones in black are not clipping. Now the ones that are clipping, what I'm going to do is adjust those first. So let me apply the track gain and see what happens there. All right, so we're done with MP3 gain, and you'll notice once I put these tracks into Serato why it's important to get to a certain consistent level, and you won't have to worry about adjusting levels while you're mixing. So next step, now we're gonna, last step before we add these particular tracks into Serato, we wanna find the album art for these songs. And here's why the album art is important. So right now you can see that none of these tracks have album art. And album art is an important piece of the file because it's gonna just give that particular file some identification when you're looking through it, whether it's in iTunes, whether it's in Serato, whether it's in any MP3 player that you're using. Artists intended, and I'm sure worked hard on making sure that particular track had album art. So it's important to put it in, and trust me, it'll make your music look better and make it easier to find. So right now we don't have any album art in here, and that's where this particular software comes in. Tunes Cleaner. Now, Tunes Cleaner does a few great things for you. It helps you clean your iTunes library, it scans it all, and then indicates to you what songs don't have the correct title or album art, and it'll allow you to input all that info. It does a great job of cleaning up duplicates for you. And ultimately, it just does a audio scan of all of your tracks and does a pretty good job of telling you what duplicates you have. And then you can easily delete what you don't need. So you can clear up a lot of memory by using this feature here. But the one we're going to use right now is we're going to open up the music files, drag and drop those. So I have all these files right now currently in this folder, MP3 copy. Let's open that up. And as you can see, all those tracks are right here. And now we're going to fix all. And it's going to scan the internet based on some of the properties of the track. And 90% of the time, it does a good job of finding exactly what you need. Sometimes it comes up with some weird stuff, but it's based on the file properties. So let's exit out of here now. And now, look at that. So we'll definitely find these, make some adjustments, find those later. Now we're ready to add these songs into Serato Music folder. And I have a dedicated folder for all my music that I'm going to use for DJ purposes. And that is right here. And the way I have my music folder set up is by month. So I have 12 folders for 12 months. And then within each of those months, I have the years. So every month, as I get new music, I put it into its appropriate month. And for me, I find that to be the easiest way. This way I don't have a ton of folders with different genres and artists. All right, so we're gonna drag and drop all these songs into the appropriate folder. You can close out our browser. Let's go into Serato, locate your music folder that you have all your music in. And instead of going to the particular new folder that you wanna add into Serato, just drag the whole folder and add it right here into all. And Serato is only gonna search for songs that aren't in the library as of yet. So let's analyze them. And while that's doing that, let's take a look at some of the settings I have here. So a few quick things. Auto gain, I don't use it. I have that off. I use simple sync in terms of my sync preferences. So simple sync is what I prefer to use. But most important, your quantize options. So you have a bunch of different beats that you can use here. I prefer half beat, and you're gonna see, especially in offline player, why this is so important to set up to your preference, because it's gonna help you with your cue points and setting up loops exactly the way you want. All right, we're good. So these tracks have been analyzed. So we now have the BPM of each track. Now we want to make sure that these BPMs are accurate. Sometimes Serato will get it a little bit off, but a few things you'll notice is now we have the genre in here, we have the key in here, we have the album art, the year for each particular song. So within Serato, you have this option called Smart Crates, and Smart Crates right here is going to allow you to set up rules on how you want things organized for that particular crate. And I have Smart Crates for years. So I have 2010s. So every year that, you know, from 2010 and above, all those tracks are going to be in here. 2000s, the 90s. Smart Crates automatically pick up those rules that you put in place and automatically put them into crates for you. So it makes setting up playlists and organizing your tracks a lot easier. So I have a 90s crate, an 80s crate, a 70s crate, 50s and 60s crate. So I set up Smart Crates for the different keys, for the different genres, for the different decades, and just makes finding and locating what you want to play a lot quicker and easier. All right, so that's the purpose of putting the correct year and making sure that you're also using smart crates. Now, let's listen to each of these songs and set up the cue points and beat grids. A couple things that I have in place right now is quantize. I make sure that's on, especially when I'm using offline player. While I'm actually DJing, I don't use quantize, but for this purpose, as far as setting up cue points, you're definitely gonna want to have quantize on, and you'll see why. So, Serato DJ has analyzed these songs. It detects this particular song at 100 BPM. So first thing to do is just find the first downbeat, which it did already, and it set up a beat marker right there. And to open up your beat grid menu, you can hit edit grid right from here, or use the option and spacebar button on your keyboard. All right, so it looks like it's done a pretty good job of setting up this beat grid. So let's get out of the beat grid for right now. And here's why I recommend using quantize. Making sure you have quantize on, it just puts these cue points on the exact beat marker here. And as long as your beat grids are correct, then your cue points are going to be precise and accurate. And you don't have to have the playhead exactly on the exact point you want, because I have it set to half beat quantize. All right, so that's our first cue point. Now, as far as setting cue points, I like to set a cue point on every major transition of a song, and usually there's going to be a transition every 8 bars. And you can see here that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I guarantee there will be a change in the song right after these 8 bars on bar number 9. So without even listening to the track, I'm going to put a cue point right there. Now, with certain genres of music, specifically hip hop, I'll also put a cue point on the 4th measure, and you'll see why, especially if you're a scratching DJ, if you like to scratch. So I'm just going to put one there. Now, let's listen to the song and you'll see why I put the cue points in those areas. So in terms of hip hop music, especially if you're a scratch DJ, scratching on the snare or on the 4th beat of a song is always going to sound a lot better than scratching on the actual one or kick or drum. Now I'm just going to add a few more cue points for other important transitions of the song. So when the first verse comes in, and I might put a cue point at the end here when the song finally ends. So let's keep on listening.
No, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't bub, is a guy to holla at. Scrub is a guy that thinks he's friends right, trying to
cue point there.
Scrub is a guy that thinks he's autos as soon as I thought is a girl that looks.
Yeah, that's when the first rap verse comes in. Let's put a cue point there.
I thought is a girl that look for bottles as soon as she come in the club. You can know that old coffee. I spend it, I'm running to my Costa liquor store. I thought it's a club. Girlfriends too. And they a wedding ring, shoes in the bag. I found out that you can't trust that. She come out, but in a smile. Need nice ass, never trust a big butt in a smile.
All right, I'm gonna put a cue point here. This is the French Montana verse.
Need nice shoes in the soon as the bottles. She'll leave your ass, never trust
All right, and we'll put a cue point for the outro here. Now, if you really want to get real detailed, you can label each of these cue points with exactly what they are. There's an example there. But let's hear all the cue points in order all together.
No scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love.
Actually, I'm going to take off this this cue point right here. I don't need it. It's going to mess me up. Let's take that out. And now I know all these other cue points are on the 4 instead of the 1. Let's listen again.
No scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love. A scrub is a guy that thinks he's flying this, also known as a buster. A thought is a girl that look for bottles as soon as she come in the club.
Thoughts be like, I need nice shoes in the bag, need a dope boy with a bag. Thoughts be like, got the best pussy and the best head, need my boobs and my ass dead.
And I'm going to set this one up on the 4 as well.
Can't trust thoughts, can't trust thoughts. A thought is a
thoughts be like, I need nice shoes in the
can't trust thoughts.
So the beat grid stayed exactly the way it's supposed to, and for most modern music, you're not going to have a problem with the beat grid and the way Serato analyzes the file, but you'll see for some other songs it's a little off sometimes. So that was an easy one. So now we got all the cue points, they're all perfectly timed, and that song is all set. Let's go to our next one here. And this one looks like it's done a good job as well. So we got the first beat here. Set up that one. Let's listen. One important thing to mention. As you notice, we used MP3 gain. And you can see that the audio is going right up to the yellow. Occasionally goes into the red, and that's fine. But I don't have to use the track gain within Serato, and none of my tracks are clipping. And let me just go back to this one so you can see it. So you see that there? Perfect. Next one. All right, so we're gonna set cue points right before the 9th bar, and we'll work our way down.
Clap your hands, everybody. Clap your hands, everybody. Clap your hands, everybody. And everybody just clap your hands.
Think you're on.
Somebody let me know. Will everybody in the place put a whistle in your face? Scream it out and say, yo, hey. You don't stay. You don't stay. You don't.
And if you wanna rap,
We're gonna turn this man. You know you
give me money. Cold cash, not a job. Take no mess. Hit by the camera.
up my back. Let's turn this funk party to shore. Clap your hands, everybody. Hey. You don't.
All right, so for this song, I just needed 4 cue points. There wasn't much of a change, so I know where the first verse comes in.
You don't stop.
Right there.
That makes your finger pop. Clap your hands, everybody.
And I have an outro. Good. All right, so Doc Adam did the hard work for us here, because this is a track that probably would not be analyzed very well in Serato because it's an older song, but Doc Adam did an edit, make sure the beat stayed consistent, and we're all set there. Now, as we're doing this, we've created the BPM, or we've adjusted our cue points. One important thing we want to do is lock each track once we know that it's been analyzed correctly and the beat grid is correctly. By doing this, by hitting Control and clicking in this area here and making sure this little lock goes into place. You're telling Serato, do not change the beat grid. So if I were to take this song and try to analyze it again, I'm going to encounter an error. A files with locked beat grids. See that again. Were encountered. These files have not been analyzed. So it's not going to analyze it again and possibly alter your BPM and your beat grid. What'll happen is you'll spend time setting up these beat grids if they're not analyzed correctly the first time by Serato. And then if you accidentally analyze it again later on, it's gonna delete everything that you did there and put it back to its original beat grid that it's analyzing at. So always make sure once it's locked, and that gives me an idea of when I'm looking through my tracks of which songs I've spent time beat gridding and which ones I know exactly. Well, it just tells me these songs are gonna be on beat all the time and that the BPM is completely accurate. All right, so let's go down to this next song here. Again, song looks good. Set up a cue point here. So it's got an 8-bar intro. So we'll set up a cue point right here. Again, look at the audio. It's not clipping at all. It's going right to the yellow. So all my waveforms are consistent. I'm going to put a cue point here because there's a big change of the song. Another change here. And one last one here. All right, so let's listen to all these cue points together.
Me gusta cuando te pones salvaje. Me gusta cuando te pones salvaje. Cuando te escapas y te vives el mundo. Si te quieres vengar, cuenta conmigo que te puedo ayudar. Tengo en mi...
Beautiful. Thank you, Lex Edit, on that, sir. Let's go down. So here's a big one, transition tracks. So there's definitely going to be some issues with the beat grid on this track because it starts at 126, goes down to 103. And Serato detected the BPM as 103, so we'll have to make some big changes here. So let's do it. All right, so first off, you can see already this is going to be offbeat. It got the 1 correctly, so let's put a cue point there. What it didn't get correctly are the next bars. As you can see, it's drifting and drifting. And that's because the BPM is currently at 103. We'll bring it to the 1. We'll just listen to the beat, count off in 4s, and place a warp marker on every 4th beat. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's stop right there. So we only had to do it once, and Serato got it correct. So 126, 126. So that's where our beat starts off. Now it's going to eventually transition into 103, and I'll show you how to set that up. So let's keep listening. And we'll set cue points along the way.
1, 2.
So in this case, I'm going to set a cue point here.
1, 2, 3. Come on now.
Now, for house music, I really don't need to set a cue point at the 4. I usually set those at the 1 because I'm not going to be really scratching. All right, Let's keep going. Let's set a cue point right here.
1, 2, 3, come on now. Hit me with the heart. Hit me with the heart. Hit me with the heart.
Okay, so here's where our transition starts. So I set a cue point on the 25th bar here, and it's going to start to slow down. What I would recommend you do is, on this cue point, put a grid marker right there. Those are indicated by the red lines. And that means any adjustments you make to the grid after this point will only affect everything after this point. It's not going to affect these grids over here. This is correct, so we don't want to touch this. We want to fix everything beyond the 25th bar. So we're going to listen, and as we're listening, we're going to tap on X to put a new grid marker at each beat. Once the beat becomes consistent, then I'll show you what to do from there. So let's bring it back and let's listen. All right, so I think it's gonna get consistent after this point. Let's just keep listening. Yeah, it is. All right, and let's just look at what happened here. Now, this is our transition cue point right here. So here in the cue area, I'm just gonna type in the word trans, and this way I know that this cue point is where the transition begins. And you'll notice as I'm playing the song, you'll see the BPMs start to decrease. The easiest way is, once you know the track is going to be consistent the rest of the way, all you have to do is use these arrows, the adjust area. So we're going to adjust the arrow right on the beat there. Take a look here, make sure everything is consistent. Looks good. And you'll notice now it's at 103. We're going to save it, bring it back, and let's look and listen. All right, so looks good, but now the track the beat grid starts to drift off a little. As you can see, this bar right here, 46, is not exactly right in the beginning. And that's fine. We can open up the grid editor once again and just place a new marker right there, and that'll adjust all the others. And it looks like there might be a transition that's about to happen. Let's take a listen. Ah, I know what happened here. It adjusted the BPM to 104 when I put this new beat grid marker. So here's how you fix that. We can leave that alone and we can just hit the adjust button again, or actually that's the best way to do it. Let's do that. So I'm going to adjust it again, because you'll notice starts to drift off here because the actual BPM is 103. So let's adjust that, get it right on beat, and now we're back at 103.
No need to go down, be lucky when you're rotting at the talk of the town, yeah.
Okay, it's drifting off a little. New beat grid marker there. One more there, and we're good. So now if we look throughout the entire song, you'll see all the beat markers are exactly where they're supposed to be. And that's going to make it easier for me to set up additional cue points throughout the song if I need to, because all the beat markers are exactly where they're supposed to be. And there you go. And that's how you set up the beat grid for a transition track. Once you do a few songs, it's pretty easy and you know exactly what to do from there. So let's lock that up so that Serato doesn't change that at any point, or I don't accidentally change it, because you could easily, you know, accidentally type in or double click on the BPM column and accidentally put in a value. And that would change your entire beat grid and BPM, but since we have it locked, nothing's gonna happen. All right, so that one's all set. And there you go. So we've adjusted the beat grids. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've done here to make sure we have a nice, clean, organized Serato DJ library that's going to help you find the music you want to play without working too hard. And really, when you're DJing, you want to focus on selecting the right track at the right time. You don't want to focus on, you know, where is this song? Which version do I have? Is it too loud? Do I need to adjust the levels on here? You're going to be able to, if you use the few techniques that I've shown you here, it's going to make your life a lot easier, and you're going to be playing and enjoying DJing rather than working while you're DJing. But other than that, I want to thank you for watching my video. I hope some of these things help you out, and good luck.